Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Neomis. Now for this video, I'm going to be talking about the next Arsenal match. That's right, Everton versus Arsenal. Stay tuned to my thoughts and my views on my prediction on this game, start and lineup. Now, let's get started. So with everything that has been going on with Arsenal this past week, or to be honest, in the last 3 weeks, it's another game where we don't have a manager. Now, as of this recording, the manager at the moment, or the coach, is Freddie Ljungberg. There are talks on Mikel Arteta, but I'm not going to talk about Mikel Arteta today until Arteta is confirmed as the manager. But let's talk about the game against Everton. It's an away trip. Let's call it the Alex Iwobi derby, because it's a return of at least Alex Iwobi versus Arsenal. We've never seen that. It's a game where we're going to see how much he's improved at Everton. From what I have seen and researched and gathered, not much, to be really honest. But let's be fair. What Duncan Ferguson is doing at Everton right now is incredible. They've been really, really well. They're about to appoint a new manager there at Everton Football Club. And to be honest, Arsenal should worry. Arsenal should worry for the simple fact that not only are they playing well right now, but they have a really, really, really good manager. And we're in a position where we've just come from a loss from Man City. We need to bounce back. We really, really need to bounce back. And a lot of this, it's not Freddie's fault. For me, I put the blame slowly down to the players, just not trying hard enough, not giving it their all. And when you look at some of the recent comments of by certain players, or at least certain players' brothers, Aubameyang, in regards to Freddie Ljungberg, I mean, they're already looking down on him because he doesn't have experience. This is the state that Arsenal are in right now. But somehow, some way, you guys know me, I like to be positive. We can turn things around here. We can. Last game's a little bit of an anomaly. We were up against Man City. It was a 3-0 loss. Kind of expected. I predicted 3-1. Let's move on now. Everton are a different kettle of fish. Yes, we know that they have a midfield. It's pretty good. They got the likes of, I think it's Guy in their midfield, if I'm not mistaken. And obviously we know Alex Iwobi. They've got injuries by Gomez. I think he's still out injured. But they've got some pretty good young players coming through. They got the likes of Yerry Mina in defense, who's been pretty solid for them this season. They've got the likes of Keane, who's at Burnley, a couple of seasons ago. And they're on an upward trajectory. So we need to watch out for that. We need to start building our upward trajectory for the Arsenal. Biggest threats of them all, it's got to be Theo Walcott. Got to be Theo Walcott. Nah. Let's be really honest. Not Theo Walcott, but Richarlison. Richarlison is going to be a big problem within this game. He's someone that our defenders are going to need to watch out for. And we're going to have to be able to combat him by having some attacking threats, our own Brazilian. And that's right, I'm going for a 4-3-3 in this game. And I'm going for Martinelli, our Brazilian. I'm going for Pepe, also on the wing as well, on the other wing. So probably Martinelli on the left, Pepe on the right, with Aubameyang up top. Don't think that there's any way around that. For me, Ozil has to be dropped. Like, our midfield three is not good enough. And we need energy, we need pace, we need work rate in that midfield to be able to help those front three attacking players. We need that. We need that. So for me, I'm dropping Ozil. I'm having Torreira in there because you need to have like a midfield that has a little bit of defensive solidity. And even though for me, Lucas Torreira hasn't been the best at it this season, he's still someone that I do think that could provide value in this squad. So for me, Lucas Torreira is going in there. Second of all, you guys know I'm a Willock fan. I was changed by Willock from the season. He's got bucket loads of energy. You could tell there is something there, but Willock, like, he's lacking the final touch and the clinical ability to be able to put chances away. But I do like what he brings. But you know, this is all part of having young players in your squad, so you can't really get around that. So I'm going for Willock there in the midfield. And then, just because of injuries, I would have had Maitland-Niles, because he also provides lots of energy and he's relatively strong within that midfield. I would have gone for him as well, to be a little bit of a workhorse type within that midfield. But unfortunately, I'm going to have to go with Guendouzi, who's probably going to be more of the little bit of a playmaker, staying more into the central midfield part, whilst Willock is probably going to be the one driving forward a lot, whilst Torreira kind of sits. And then depending on how the play goes, they'll either, at least two of them will either sit back and one will go forward, depending on how things go. That's how they have to do it. In defense, there's not much options that we can do at the moment. We could have a situation where, and I probably figure that it'll probably be Maitland-Niles on the right, Callum Chambers in defense, along with Socrates and Kolasinac. I could see a situation, but chances are it's probably what it's going to be. But maybe we should also look at Callum Chambers at a right back, with David Luiz in defense and Socrates and Kolasinac. I mean, when you think about it, it's not much of a difference. But then when you think about the wingers that they have, they you know, say what you want about Walcott, but he's still got the pace to be able to frighten defenders. We all know what Richarlison could do. His ability to come from wide and to kind of drift in, similar to an inside role, and almost add as become like a secondary striker. He's going to be a problem, and we need to be able to have defenders to be able to deal with that. So dealing with the likes of his pace, his strength, you're probably going to have to go with Maitland-Niles. The centre backs, why not go with Callum Chambers there? And I'm going to stick with Socrates, and then I'll stick with Kolasinac, if Kolasinac is healthy. If he's not, then we have a situation whereby we're going to have to make some changes. And I would probably go with, if he isn't healthy, I would go with Maitland-Niles at left back, Callum Chambers at right back, David Luiz in defense, along with Socrates. And then I'll stick with Kolasinac, if Kolasinac is healthy. If he's not, then we have a situation whereby we're going to have to make some changes. And I would probably go with, if he isn't healthy, I would go with Maitland-Niles at left back, Callum Chambers at right back, David Luiz in defense, along with Socrates. And then I'll stick with Kolasinac, if Kolasinac is healthy. If he's not, then we have a situation whereby we're going to have to make some changes. And I would probably go with, if he isn't healthy, I would go with Maitland-Niles at left back, Callum Chambers at right back, David Luiz in defense, along with Socrates. And then I'll stick with Kolasinac, if Kolasinac is healthy. If he's not, then we have a situation whereby we're going to have to make some changes. And I would probably go with, if he isn't healthy, I would go with Maitland-Niles at left back, Callum Chambers at right back, David Luiz in defense, along with Socrates. And then I'll stick with Kolasinac, if Kolasinac is healthy. If he's not, then we have a situation whereby we're going to have to make some changes. And I would probably go with, if he isn't healthy, I would go with Maitland-Niles at left back, Callum Chambers at right back, David Luiz in defense, along with Socrates. and then I'll stick with Kolasinac if Kolasinac is healthy. If he's not, then we have a situation whereby we're gonna have to make some changes, and I would probably go with, if he isn't healthy, I would go with Maitland-Niles at left back, Callum Chambers at right back, David Luiz in defence along with Socrates, and then I'll stick with Kolasinac.